All right, we ready to sing? Let's do it. Recording for the album just started. My name's Calvin Greenan. I grew up in the south suburb of Chicago. It's called Tinley Park. I've lived here my whole life, and until further notice, I'm still here. So, really early on, just how in music interacting was guitar right away. It was more accessible. I got like a first act guitar for Christmas when I was like 7 or whatever, and I didn't really touch it for probably a year. And then I was like, I'm gonna try to make this work somehow, and the guitar came out of that. And then a couple years later, I was in early middle school when I was like, I'm gonna play a couple chords on piano and see how it goes. But I would say that, you know, throughout the years, it's really moved into this like 50-50 process. Oh, you're playing it too. Oh wait.
No, I'm not.
No, you're playing the one, but that's not right. It was sort of just kind of second nature to start looking around and being like, how do I get whatever is around me down on the paper? I think that for me, it was always tell the story first. Probably one of, if not the first songs that I wrote, I did for like a 4th grade talent show. It was called Crazy Day. It was a song about running away from a cloud. Just like, what? But I listened to a lot of Paramore at the time, so you can just hear like the structures and the melodies. It's like this 8-year-old go at it pretending like I'm Haley Williams. And then in high school, it was probably my sophomore year, like Billie Eilish just kind of sprouted out of nowhere, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're the same age. I'm gonna try to make music like her. I'm way too young to feel like I'll never love again. Some of those pillars definitely stick out to me as just like, you know, those songs. And there are still, on occasion, we'll just be hanging out with the gang or whatever, and somebody will randomly start singing a melody from, you know, a song that I wrote 5-6 years ago. Just like some random doodah BS about me pretending like I knew how life worked when I was 14 and writing songs.
So paint me a picture as you write my name. I'm all up on your mind. Don't you
that one piece of the process that has kind of always stuck. I always write the song first. So before I think about any sort of arrangement thing, the song 9 times out of 10 is completely written. So it's not like I'm building out 8-bar loops or I'm building out a whole beat or a whole orchestration or a whole arrangement. It's usually like I kind of have my bones, I have my skeleton, and then I kind of lay that out and build around it. Music stopped being something that I was good at guessing at and started being something that I was knowledgeable of through non-contemporary choral organizations. So in middle school, the choir director at the time heard me sing like 4 notes, and she was like, hey, so you're gonna be in choir. And I was like, what? Because I was a bedroom band, and I liked that. Regardless of what was going on or what the week looked like or what was happening, I could just go upstairs and wail away at the keys or wail away at the guitar or whatever. Like, I was able to just kind of go and do it in my own space, and I wrote songs, and I had albums, and I didn't have an audience, I didn't need an audience, and everything that I was doing was mine. So that changed when I was invited to be a part of a choral program. I have been blessed with 2 incredible choral director, vocal coach, music teachers, theory teachers through the Moan family. Chris Moan was my high school choir director, and his sister was my middle school director. And actually, if we want to go all the way back, I wasn't much involved, but Moan's wife was my elementary school music teacher. So I've had the Moan family as like my musical stewards for the entirety of my life. getting to be one of the guys in close proximity to the work that they were doing in their communities. I went from being just like the kid who isn't really trying hard to make it make sense to having a real foundation of musical knowledge and being able to expound upon that, even going back into the bedroom. The Moans were completely instrumental in basically everything that I do musically. The plan was go off to college and get a 4-year, whether it be in teaching or in performance or whatever that might be, and kind of figure it out from there. My dream school was Berkeley. My mom and I flew out there, and I auditioned, and it was dope. 17-year-old kid, like, I'm in Boston. Like, I'd been out of the Midwest like twice. So we auditioned in like mid-February 2020, and then mid-March the world shuts down. I actually didn't get my acceptance letter from Berkeley until like April 2nd. So we were already in the pandemic, and I had no idea whether or not I got into my dream school. And then I did, and my mom and I kind of looked at each other and we were like, we don't know what the world's going to look like in 6 months. Does it make sense to sign on to this school? I mean, it's a risk, right? So we decided to wait on Berkeley for good or for bad. I went to a smaller university kind of out in the south suburbs. I played D2 lacrosse for like a month. The fam's pretty broke, kind of always has been. It was a struggle to drive 35, 40 minutes every morning and every night to get out to practices and private lessons and ensembles and gen ed classes and all that stuff. On top of the fact that my car didn't go in reverse at the time. So I dropped out of college, didn't tell my mother. She was pissed. She was pissed, dude. She was so mad that I dropped out. But I didn't tell her for a while, so we didn't have to worry about that.
I guess maybe I should have opened with a little more explanation for like the point of this. So this is, 4 of these 6 records are off of the project that we're working on, which comes out in a while. We haven't finished it yet. But essentially the goal of this was like, I didn't want to go from somebody who didn't exist to an artist with an entire record out. So I was like, so how would I want to present myself to people off the get? And it's like, what do I like to do? We're going in the living room with all my friends. We're going to play records. You know what I'm saying? So this live feeling that I'm looking for, do I want it to be so busy that like nobody can breathe? No. But I'm looking for a lot of fun. So like these lines and these swells and these things are like these different lines. You know what I'm saying? This is exactly what I'm looking for.
Front of house, in its purpose, is the genesis of my artistry. It didn't make sense to me to be a guy who just put out singles. I didn't want to tell stories on that small a format. But at the same time, it'd be hard to build any sort of foundation on a full-length LP without some semblance of introduction. It didn't seem logical for me or anyone on our team to go overnight from someone who doesn't exist to someone who has a full studio album out. What Front of House was intended to be, and I think what it's become, is this introduction. It's like, hey, I'm Cal. This is, to the best ability that we can do, what you can expect. Has it been imperfect? Surely. But I think what Front of House really has done is it's encompassed, what do I sound like? What do I love to do, which is live arrangement? What are my goals, which is to go take the stuff that we worked on and we built in the studio and go out in different places and just test it out.
This is the repeat, so it's not even the beginning of the chorus. So I'll, wait. So I'll sit behind.
This Wasn't Love is a song about the day after a breakup. The first lines are, last night I let you walk out of my life. It was the last time that I'd ever see those emerald green eyes in summer light. I try to think right, but these thoughts, they won't leave. So This Wasn't Love is track 8 on the actual record, but I kind of wanted to start it with some semblance of a bang. Sort of this just like real definitive, I'm living in this ugly, and kind of being that like mid upper tempo range. D flat is a fairly bright key from my perspective. So sort of this like crying in the club vibe of like, this kind of sucks, but we're gonna like roll through it anyway, sort of orientation for the song. So I thought, since it was the first song that we intentionally wrote for this album, I thought it would be really cool to kind of front load that and let that be this like middle ground interpretation of what this full body of work could look like, being that it's right smack dab in the middle of the record.
For sure. Dredge?
Last night I
I'd let you walk out of my life. It was the last time that I'd ever see those emerald green eyes in summer light. I try to think right, but these thoughts, they won't leave. So don't kiss me goodbye. You'll taste the salt on my lips. I wish that we were just kids. Don't even think about pulling me closer. This has to be real this time. So why did we lie to ourselves and each other? Try to compromise to become one another. Took too much time to realize and uncover that this was your love. Last month I let you walk out the front door. What could I ask for more than what I had? Late nights, long fights, it wasn't the same since you told me you hated my love. Like I'd understand. Don't kiss me goodbye. You taste the salt on my lips. I wish that we were just kids. Don't even think about pulling me closer. This has to be real this time. So why did we lie to ourselves and each other? Try to compromise to become one another. Took too much time to realize and uncover that this was in love. Oh, so I'll sit behind these same bars and just wonder why you took your heart as a key to discover what it was like to be free. You'd feel younger, but this was in love. So that was in love. That was in love. So that was in love. That was in love.
Goodbye.